The first battle, Chad Sado versus Shunsui Koraku. Shunsui was in no rush to fight, as he continued enjoying a drink of his sake, rose petals falling all around him, with courtesy of Nanao, who was sprinkling them from above, although she got a little carried away and dropped the whole bunch. Sorry about that. Nanao can be a little extreme, to say the least. You're supposed to be taking this seriously, Captain. I am. But there's no need to rush into conflict. I like to think that we can resort all of our differences by having a drink and coming to an understanding. Wouldn't you agree, son? Under normal circumstances, I would agree. Although I'm not old enough to drink, it's illegal for minors. Oh, well, that's too bad. Still, I suppose I can't make you reconsider by any chance? Yes, you are Ryoka, but from what I've seen, you haven't killed any of our men, so I have no reason to suspect you of anything. At the very least, you're not a murderer. That I can take solace in. If you leave now, I'm sure that this whole situation will be forgotten about, wouldn't you say? If it were that easy, I'm here to help rescue Rukia. Rukia? The prisoner? Ah, I see. The Shinigami who spent 6 months in the human realm. I have to say, is something so trivial as that really worth risking your life? I mean, can you really say that you were friends, or that you even developed a friendship worthy enough? Perhaps if it were 8 months, 9 months, although that would still be too little in my case. A year? Maybe. 2 or 3? Perhaps. 5 or 6? Understandable. 10 or more? Well, then I wouldn't be able to blame you. But 6 months? Are you really willing to throw away all that you could be for 6 months? For a person I'm sure you barely even knew. You're right. I didn't know her for very long. But she saved me, and for that I am always indebted to her. And even if that weren't the case, my friend Ichigo believes that she is worth saving, and I've known him for a while. For Ichigo's sake, I will rescue Rukia, and I will defeat you. It appears that we are at an impasse. We are. You're not going to stand aside? I can't. It would be an insult to my friendship, to what it means to me, if I were to back down now. I see. I apologize, Chad would say, as his right arm became enamored with a spiritual aura turning into its metallic gray with streaks of black and crimson. The small keychain hammer now enlarging to its full size as he powered it up with his Ryatsu, and then charging with a devastating amount of shockwave and force directly towards Shunsui. However, the shockwave attack would diverge, and instead would strike over to the left, the second shockwave striking to the right. Chad would continue his onslaught of assaulting blows over and over again, with Shunsui evading, dodging, countering, and maneuvering against each one. For Ryoka, he is indeed powerful. This is the type of power that could even combat against the top lieutenant. Still, The gap between the Ryoka and myself is still far too great, as far as the moon is from the sun. While both visible, his power just simply cannot connect to mine. What's going on? Even if there's a level or two between us, there's no way that that gap could be so big that I can't leave a single mark. You know, in battle there are two types of attacks. The ones that leave you spent of all of your energy, and the ones that take everything out of you until you eventually die. If I had to take a guess, I would say that you fall into the latter category. Your power is indeed great, not something that could be taken lightly. And I assure you, if you were facing anyone that wasn't a captain, there's a good chance that you would win. However, as unfortunate as fate would be, it has willed it for you to be my opponent. I can only ask you this one final time. Will you please give up your pursuit? I can't. I'm sorry. You seem like a really good guy. You probably don't want to do this. And I assure you, I really wish I didn't have to either. If I were old enough, I wish we could go out for drinks. You're really relaxed. What's your name? I am Shunsui. Shunsui Kuraku. I'm Chad Sato. It was an honor to battle against you, Chad. You as well, Mr. Shunsui. Ichigo, Clark. Ever since I've met the both of you, I've always felt like I've had to look at your backs. Growing up, I always had this power, but I never knew what I was supposed to do with it. When I see everyone else around me, I see people who have goals, aspirations, and dreams, things that sometimes I just don't possess. I live a rather mundane life, and I can't say that there was anything truly extraordinary about me, save for my power, a power that never had a calling. Even now, if only just for a moment, I wouldn't be sure if I could call this a prayer or just a message of desperation. Whatever force that powers me, whatever force that guides me, I only ask one thing. Give me the power to strike down my enemy, this one enemy. Give me the power to help my friends. That's all I need. Just one shot. One shot to take him down. Chad would continue to focus as much of his Ryatsu through his arm, causing the sledgehammer that he had been given to begin to resonate with his power. As the aura formed around him, the ground shaking between them both. For Nanao, this was beyond anything she could have expected. A Ryoka capable of this much strength, and he's not even a Soul Reaper. He's easily a lieutenant level. If he had just a little more training, maybe in a few years' time, he could probably achieve even a low-ranking captain. He's indeed powerful, Shunsui would say. I'm not going to be able to hold back. Come now, Chad. Show me your resolve. Give it everything you've got. Show how much this means to you. I hope you can take it! A final clash between the two of them. A clash that left Chad laying on the ground, bleeding out. Shunsui would return his Zanpakuto back to his side. There was no need to go into its next state. This power was more than enough. But still, it left his hands trembling. And that said a lot. As Nanao would stand over him, she prepared to finish him off with the final strike, as he was still faintly alive. But Shunsui would stop her. For now, they would leave him be. And whether he lived or died, that would be decided by fate. The second battle, Uryu and Orihime versus Mayori Kurasuchi and his lieutenant, Nemu Kurasuchi. Mayori, the captain of Squad 12. Orihime watched on intensely as Uryu would engage with Mayori, the man who had experimented on over 2,661 Quincy's, a part of the Quincy Purge. Uryu had never forgotten this blight against his people, and even more so, to be in the presence of the monster that carried out such brutal and horrifying experiments. Much of the battle would take place the same as in the original timeline, but with a key difference. Towards the middle of the battle, as Mayori would unleash his Shikai, the power of his Zanpakuto, Ashasogi Jizo, allowing for his Shikai to be given form, and for the dangerous poisonous blades of his Zanpakuto to emerge and stab at Uryu. Nemu would attempt to get in the way, looking to hold him in place long enough for the Zanpakuto to strike, much to Mayori's dismay, as both Nemu and Uryu would be struck. Nemu struck in the back and her legs, while Uryu would be struck in his left arm, causing it a severe paralyzation, with the pain still induced. "You imbecile," Mayori would say, as he walked over to Nemu before kicking her against the wall and stomping on her. "Why? Why can't you just do as you're told? I did not ask for your assistance, nor did I tell you to get in the way. You think that I can't deal with one measly Ryoka, and a no-good Quincy at that? What do you take me for? You imbecile, you stupid, perpetual child! You're useless. Do you hear me? Useless, Nemu! Useless! Useless! Useless!" Even for Uryu, the scene was rather disturbing. Sure, there was no love lost between Uryu and Soul Reapers, but this, to treat your own subordinate that way? It only got more uglier as he picked her up by the head and started ramming her head against the wall. "This is what I have to do to you, Nemu, because you're obviously not good at anything else. I swear, I worked on you day in and day out, and you call what's inside of that noggin a brain? Please, it's an insult, an insult, an insult! You should ease up on her. Isn't she working with you? If you do that, you'll kill her," Uryu would say. "What?" "Oh, I get it now. You don't understand. But of course, a simpleton like you never could. Still, do you think that I would create something that could be killed by a couple of strikes like this? What do you take me for? You're an insult to my intelligence, boy." "Intelligence? What are you? Oh, do I have to spell it out? I created her. You could say in a way she's my daughter, and I'm her father. And as such, it's none of your damn business what I do. I can keep ramming her head like this over and over and over again. And what will she do? Nothing. Because I'm the one that built her. I am her master. I am her creator. It is through me that she has life. She was created through the Gigai and the Gikon that I was able to construct. Me alone. It is ridiculousness to think that you would dare insinuate that I would make something so brittle that would break so easily. You truly don't understand anything about me, boy. Nothing at all. And if she's willing to act this dumb, then I have no use for her. She is useless. 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 She is a no good piece of shut up! Orihime would yell. Mayori would look on as a strange phenomena began to occur. There were tears streaming out of Orihime's eyes, and that lantern ring on her left hand began to glow fiercely. A great pouring of spiritual aura was forming around her, but her eyes had that of pure anger. Huh? Now this is one interesting... I said shut up! Yeah! Orihime would now create a giant boxing glove that smacked Mayori right in the face, knocking him away from Nimue. Even Uryu was surprised by this. Orihime? How dare you? How dare you do that to your daughter? What? Has no one been paying attention to me? I built her. I can do with her as I said shut up! Orihime's ring now created a giant fly swatter as she started swatting Mayuri on the ground. Go! It's me! Okay, enough with it! Do I look like an insect to you? Oh! That's your daughter! Your damn daughter! And you treat her like that! How could you? Family is supposed to love and protect each other! Why would you do such a thing? Okay, it's obvious that I have been drawn into some comedy hour. Get it through your thick skull. I created her. That means that's more reason why you should protect her. When parents create children, they're supposed to love and care for them like they were their own. You don't bash them around and beat them, even if you think they can take it. You're a monster. Don't you have a heart? A heart. A heart, she says. You mean an organ or the sentiment? You're a heartless jerk! Ah, I see now. Yes, I think I understand. You Ryoka. Humans. Human emotion and sentiment. It's all so trivial. Honestly, the concept of a heart. Truly baffling what it is. You think that I'm a monster, do you? You think I'm heartless. Why? Because I exist in a world of cold logic and fact. I am not swayed by such emotions. That shows the difference between you and I. The sentiments of the heart. But really, what is the heart? No more than an organ, a tool that pumps blood through the body and allows for you to take in oxygen. You could call the heart anything, really. Anything at all. And it doesn't change its process. But you speak of sentiment. Tell me, child, what do you know about the world? Do you think it's all sunshine and rainbows? I'll tell you, the world is filled with many people like myself who are not swayed by petty emotions. You say I don't have a heart. I say, why did I ever need one? I am a creator, an inventor. I delve into science. And in order to achieve new heights, to explore things that have never been done, you cannot be held back by petty morality. I have done many things, all in the name of science. Many innovations have been achieved through my hands. Do you think I would have got there if I held back because I thought about having a heart? A heart? Child, you speak with nothing but ignorance. In this world, you will come to find that many people do not have the heart that you speak of. And as long as you continue to hold on to yours, you will always be held back. I don't care. I don't. Having a heart, it means so much more. What good is it to achieve the world, to gain everything you want, and sacrifice so much of yourself along the way? You hurt so many people, and you don't even care. So many lives, and yet it probably never even crosses your mind. That's why I really, really hate you. You hate me. Yet another emotion. Meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. Hate, heart, love, lust. All of these emotions. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. What do they benefit? Hate clouds your mind. Lust fills you with passion. All of it distorts your judgment and your thinking. In the end, does any of it really matter? You and I are enemies, but only for a short while. You Ryoka are impressive, but in the end you will all be dealt with. And if I'm lucky, I'll have the pleasure of capturing you and all of your Ryoka friends. I'll make sure I take my time with each and every single one of you. So many new ideas I can test. So many theories that I can put forth. Oh yes, it shall indeed be glorious. But you, I'll take my time especially with you. I've been working on a new paralyzing agent. One that keeps your body perfectly sedated. So much so that you can't even say a word. But you're awake. Awake through the entire process. With no way to move. No way to communicate. Your mind will have a million thoughts. A voice that must scream, and yet you will remain silent. But you'll feel everything. I want to delve into you, child. Delve into how you use that ring. Delve into what makes you you. Your power. Everything. I want to dissect you piece by piece, layer by layer, fold upon fold. And when I'm done, I'll put you back together, and then I'll search some more. And I want you to feel it. I want you to feel every waking moment of it. I want you to feel all of me diving deep within your... Uryu would fire another shot right at Mayori. In the time that he had gone on into his diatribe of a monologue, Uryu had been repairing his arm. He used a technique that was once hailed by the Quincy's, but one thought to be long since forgotten. To restore his left arm, he used the technique known as Ranso Tengai. Using his spiritual energies, he would form it into tiny threads that would move all along his paralyzed arm, allowing for him to move it like a marionette moving a puppet on strings. Even Mayori was impressed by this. So, you even know a relic of a technique like that? Maybe you are worth more than I originally suspected. It's been lost to time, Uryu would say. But, since you're such an educated man, allow me to enlighten you some more. You're about to learn the hard way of why you should never underestimate a Quincy. And you might not be glad that you did. Uryu would then look to Orihime. You have an amazing power, Orihime. Truly, you are blessed with strength, far more than you've ever realized. I know this is probably a lot to ask of you. Honestly, up until now, I've never considered you to be the combative type. And to be honest, I still don't. Your flurry of emotion, it resonated with your spiritual energy and temporarily gave you a boost. But it's not going to last long. I need you to stall him long enough for me to get off a good shot, one capable of taking him down. This is a lot to ask of you, and I don't know how long you'll hold out. But the longer you can, the better. If I can charge up one surefire shot from my Quincy bow, I know I'll beat him. With that, Uryu would remove the Sanrei glove as he said a silent apology to himself, an apology to his father. They had never seen eye to eye when it came to Uryu being a Quincy. It was something his father outright rejected and tried to get his son to do the same, but he never could. The Senrei glove, a special tool used by Quincy's that allowed them to train and gain high level of power within a short period of time, but at a cost. Once the Quincy put that glove on, if they were ever to remove it, it would result in them losing all of their power. But in exchange, they would gain a small temporary boost in power that would allow them to pull in even more reishi and spirit energy faster than usual. They could lead to one final strike, a final burst of power, even capable of taking down the captain. Mayuri only continued to look on, not impressed by either of them, at least in terms of their antics. Their power, a different story. But he'd have time to dissect that later. It's time to end this. Bun Kai Kojiki Ashasogi Jizo. As Mayuri would activate his Bunkai, it transformed into a large creature-like figure, a large yellow-shaped headed monstrosity in a red cloak with a hovering halo around it and plumes of poisonous smoke bellowing from its mouth as its soulless, blanked white eyes looked upon them. I'm going to end this once and for all. I've indulged in your stupidity for long enough. the caterpillar-like creature with a baby-shaped head would then begin its attack beyond the two of them. For Orihime, she would use her Shunsui Rika to heal Uryu, even more so, and to give him as much strength as he could, while she used her lantern ring to create force fields around them to protect them against the might of Mayori's Bankai. However, the constructs will begin to crack away, forcing Orihime to have to exert even more strength to keep them safe, all while Uryu focused. I have to hold on, Orihime would say. I have to hold on. From what I've been able to dissect, that ring can produce anything through your thought and willpower alone. But tell me, young child, how much willpower do you really possess? I remember those emotions of yours. I remember how sternly and how hard you talked with such vigor and ferocity. But now, in the face of true power, your resolve is shaken. You can barely keep your defenses up. You and your friend will fall. You know this in your heart of hearts. Don't you feel it? You feel that sentiment slipping away? The feeling of failure and despair, and suffocating all of you. I have to hold on. I have to. Come on. I know I'm not this weak. The Bankai would continue to launch attacks of its blades upon them. Slowly but surely, her defenses were being chipped away. Whether because Mayori was still not taking them seriously at all, so much so that rather than destroying them like a hammer could do to a fly, instead this was death by 1,000 needles, slowly picking away at them one by one. Because Mayori knew one thing. You didn't crush someone's willpower with just power. You crushed it with fear. Fear was the key. He had to induce fear into Orihime. The fear worked against her will. The greater her fear, the weaker her willpower, the weaker her defenses. If Orihime had no fear, even if he was stronger, a gust of power, a surging effort, it could prove most fatal. No, the best way to win a battle is to win it within the mind, to take out her mental fortitude before she could even muster up a defense. In her time of despair, Orihime could only think about her family, her friends. Family. What family did she even have left anyway? Her mother and father never cared for her. Her brother had died. Her uncle also dead. Orihime always tried to see the bright side, to see the good, to see the better. But what good did she have? She was all alone fighting against forces far stronger than anything that she could ever do. Her Shunsui Rika were also going out of flux as well. What's the matter with her? She's becoming unstable. Huh? What's wrong with Orihime? Uryu would ask the fairies. Her mental faculties, they're all being attacked by that damned Soul Reaper. He's destroying her confidence, filling her with fear. Fear is the detriment to her power. If she can't believe in herself, in her own strength, then ours is weakened as well. They go hand in hand. She has to have confidence. More and more of her defenses continued to break. Orihime could feel her legs shaking under her clothes. She knew they couldn't hold out much longer. Uryu was preparing for the worst. He had been repaired a great deal, but still, he knew he'd have to give them cover. At best, he'd have to get her away. He'd have to try to take down Mayori with whatever strength he had. One by one, the shields broke off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one. The last shield to fall. Uryu raised his arms, ready to fire a counter-strike the moment the shield broke. Orihime desperately held up her arms with the ring, its power fluctuating due to her own lack of confidence and the feeling stagnation of fear that was drowning her. It was just then that she felt something. A hand on her shoulder. Now, how's my pretty little sunflower doing? Huh? Uncle. Hey there. It's been a while, hasn't it? I've seen you've grown so much. Uncle. You're... Yeah. Listen. I hate to cut the family reunion short, but I need you to understand something. This ring, it symbolizes more than just power. It's the embodiment of will that's in here, in your heart. You've always been a strong child, more resilient than you ever give yourself credit for. Even in the worst of situations, you're always able to smile, always able to get back on your feet. I know it hasn't been easy for you since I've been gone and since your brother passed. I want you to know that we're proud of you, of the woman that you're growing into. And you're not alone. You've made a lot of incredible friends. And I approve of them, even Four Eyes over there. So listen, don't ever change who you are. And don't let this ugly, two-faced bastard tell you differently. Your heart is what makes you beautiful. It makes you shine even on the cloudiest of days. And that's all you need to be. As long as you can do that, then I promise we'll always be here. You don't fight alone. Now, let me deal with this ugly son of a gun. The vestige of Guy Gardner, the spirit of the Green Lantern that dwelled within the ring, now ushered forth his power. It would only be temporary, a one-time fix. From here on out, Orihime would have to gain this strength on her own. But he would give her a glimpse of what a Green Lantern could truly be capable of. Now I want you to see. I'll show you. This is what you can truly do. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware of my power, Green Lantern's light! The shining rays of emerald would form around them as they were both within the protective barrier. As a silhouette of Guy Gardner, shimmering in the aura of the Green Lantern Corps' color of emerald green, stood before Mayori and his Bankai. What's this? Hey, you've been picking on my niece, saying a whole lot of derogatory words. You know where I'm from, we kick people's asses for talking like that to young ladies. What? What are you? What even are you? You're nothing more but a... With a swift right hook to the face, Mayuri was sent flying. That is for disrespecting my niece. No way you can... This is for disrespecting me. Because when you disrespect my niece, you disrespect me. And this... Well, this is just because you are one ugly bastard. And I'm sure your own mama doesn't even love you. Mother, you wish to insult my mother? No, you being born was an insult to your mother. And this guy raised his hand into the air as it transformed into a giant-sized missile. This is just because I don't like you. Now here, eat it! A giant explosion would occur within the Cerate, causing the foundation of the West Wing to shake. Many other Soul Reapers could feel it, as Mayori would crawl from out of the crater that he had been knocked into. He called forth for his Bankai. That is it! I am tired of these games. Okay, you all want to get nuts. Well, let's get nuts. Screw it. I don't care what happens. I am going to kill every single one of... Yeah, Uryu said. You know, you talk way too much. I promised you would learn the true power of the Quincy. And now, Soul Reaper, Captain Mayori, let me do you the pleasure of sending you straight to hell. Uryu would fire the final shot from his Quincy bow. With all of the strength and all of the power that he had stored up, with an extra oomph from the healing that the Shunsui Rika had given him. The final shot would shatter through Mayuri's Bankai and his Zanpakuto, piercing right through him and leaving a gaping hole through his chest. Greatly injured and with his own organs, whatever remained of them spilling from out of his body, Mayuri would have no choice but to escape, as he turned and burst in part into a liquid-like substance. He slithered away into the undergrounds of the Cerate, looking to retreat back to his private facility, hoping to restore himself once more, and vowing that they would soon meet again, assuming that they could survive from the poison. Highly unlikely. He would bid them farewell, and to the Quincy, he could keep his spot in hell extra comfy, because he had no plans on going anytime soon. Following the battle, as Uryu would hold on to Orihime, even though he had been healed, his body physically, the poison that they had both ingested from dealing with Mayori would still prove to be fatal. However, Nemu would surprisingly enough offer them the antidote. And in return, Orihime would use the Shunsui Rika to help heal Nemu. Of course, Nemu was surprised that despite being enemies, she would still go out of her way to help her. To her, such things were highly illogical. But for Orihime, when it came to saving a life, things like logic and understanding, none of that mattered. It was about humanity. And at least for today, now more so than ever, Orihime was proud to say that she kept hers. As for the third and final battle, that was also getting underway, as both Clark and Ichigo were left standing against the captain of Squad 11, Kenpachi Zaraki. "The fight stays between us," Ichigo would say. "Leave them out of it and yeah. I have no qualms of going after the weak. They don't serve my interest at all. You two, on the other hand, I can feel a great sense of power within the both of you. Especially you, Kryptonian. The fighting stays between us. I'll even give you both a shot. Strike me any way you want." Is he serious? You better make it count. Because when I go on the offensive, the only thing being shed will be blood and tears. Both brothers would stand on guard as they faced against the captain of Squad 11. The crushing aura of his spiritual pressure proving to be great. As the epic and explosive encounter of Ichigo and Clark battling against Kenpachi, a clash of pure monsters, was about to begin. This concludes Bleach Legacy. What If Superman Was in Bleach? Season 2, Part 5, the Mid-Season 2 finale. Now, the reason why this is the mid-season finale is because for this part, there was a lot more to the script that I could have put in, but the video was already getting a little too long, and I'm trying to save my voice. I'm not feeling the best right now. Not too bad, but I'm just going to be taking it easy. So for now, I'm going to be doing mid-season finales for this series as well as for the Evangelion Green Lantern series. That's why I didn't do part 4 yesterday. Going to be doing part 4 this afternoon, and that will be the mid-season finale for that. Because next week, we're going to be wrapping up both series with the second parts of their season 2, respectively. The second half of this season for Bleach Legacy, as well as the second half for Neon Genesis Evangelion Emerald Twilight, What If Shinji Ikari Was the Green Lantern. All in all, I do hope you've enjoyed the first half of Season 2. Definitely wanted to put a lot more into it, especially when it came to the world building of this series. I've definitely had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys have as well. So please stay tuned next week as we continue with the second half of Bleach Legacy. What If Superman Was in Bleach? Season 2, Part 6. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.